80-second anime here. What's going on, everyone? All right, I want to talk about this. This show right here is my favorite show of all time. Out of all anime, it is my favorite anime of all time. It really show, but I'm gonna say anime for sure. The first arc, man. The second arc kind of fell off to me. The third arc brought it back up, and I actually enjoyed the fourth arc. Look, Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime show of all time. I've watched the complete series about 4 to 5 times now, and I pretty much every 2 to 3 years I rewatch the entire series from beginning to end, and I fucking love Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm telling you now, for various reasons, I like Yu Yu Hakusho. Why I think it's better than Dragon Ball Z, because look, Dragon Ball Z, look, yo, it's definitely within my top five. I've watched every episode of Dragon Ball Z, pretty much like everyone else. But Yu Yu Hakusho, to me, low key, has always been significantly better because they failed to do the one thing where Dragon Ball Z came up short, and that's all the characters at some point became useless. From Krillin to Yamcha, I mean, they almost became laughable to the point where guys like Krillin were getting beaten by one kick. Like one kick, and actually it happened in Dragon Ball, but whatever. Point is, the characters got so weak, and it really revolved around one or two guys. You know, Gohan for a while until eventually Gohan kind of somewhat became a little bit useless himself. And yeah, that part, it left a lot to desire for me. It's just my opinion. It left a lot to desire, but Yu Yu Hakusho, they did not make that same mistake. They did not fall into that same trap, and they were really one of the first ones to have it where the supporting cast, in my opinion, or the first one I saw, to really have the supporting cast be able to be relevant. Now, for those who ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, it's pretty much a story about this kid named Yusuke Urameshi, and pretty much all it is that he saves the kid's life, about to be in a car accident, and he actually ends up dying, and he has to do a whole bunch of stuff through this by spirit detectives to gain back his body. Great anime, came out in like 1990, and yo, look, not only do I feel as if the characters had more depth to it, it was just, to me, Yu Yu Hakusho was just so ahead of its time. That's how I feel about it. It was just significantly ahead of its time in terms of the character development, the plot, the love story. I mean, everything about Yu Yu Hakusho to me was on point. And the battle, the tournament, and I know they pretty much copy Dragon Ball Z tournament style. I get it. I get it. But, however, the fights to me were even more interesting because while it did have that Dragon Ball Z-esque, in terms of, more power equals better type of stuff, the element that they added was technique. That's what I think that Dragon Ball Z kind of like they drifted away from. It became too much about power levels where different techniques and what you brought to the table made a difference. Your style of fighting made a difference. It mattered. What you were able to bring to the table mattered. And we see shows like Naruto take advantage of that to the fullest. Yu Yu Hakusho, they started that where, yes, of course, power levels is important, but technique is too. And that's what I like about it. So it was to the point where, unfortunately about Dragon Ball Z, if a dude's not on the same power level as you, there's no chance you can win. However, Yu Yu Hakusho was the first one that really started where, okay, you don't necessarily have to be equals. If your technique is better, if your game plan is better, you can end up winning. And Naruto, for example, has taken that to the fullest with the combination of power levels as well. When I say power level, I mean the whole point where, if you're at Super Saiyan 2, man, a guy who's a human, like a Krillin, will never beat that guy. You know what I mean? So it's kind of almost pointless to ever see them type of fight or debate. And Yu Yu Hakusho wasn't like that necessarily. While it was important, certain techniques, certain things that these guys could do, and it even has transformation as well, like different barriers of it. Yo, I could ramble on all day about this. If you haven't watched it, please watch the show. And if you have watched it, let me know what you think. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but to me, this is just my personal opinion. This is the greatest anime of all time. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think it's better than Dragon Ball. I think it has more replay value in my opinion. I believe the story is a little bit better. I believe the characters are more real. The characters are a little bit more genuine and more relatable in my opinion. And overall, it was just a great show. It was just a great show, and to this day, and probably coming up very soon, I'm going to watch the entire series all over again because it's that good. But that's my thoughts right there. That's my bold claim for the day. I'm rolling with that. And I'm actually going to have something coming out real soon. I'm trying to have a giveaway. I'm going to have different things to do so you can gain it. I'm going to announce it on my other channel. That way I can get more subs and actually reward the people for following. I'm going to do that very